spokesperson Harry Roque. Magandang tanghali, Secretary.
Magandang tanghali at maraming salamat, Yusek Rocky. Magandang tanghali, Pilipinas, no? Narito po tayo ngayon sa studio ng People's Television kahit na special non-working day, no? Ngayong araw. Ngayon po ay araw ng Immaculate Conception na ginawa pong non-working public holiday sa bisa po ng Republic Act number 10966 na nadeklara sa December 8 ng bawat taon bilang special non-working holiday bilang pagkilala sa Simbahang Katolika. Meron po tayong isang espesyal na presidential press briefing, no? Ukol po sa estado ng telekomunikasyon industry sa ating bansa. Kung inyong matatandaan, nung ikalimang State of the Nation address ni Presidente Rodrigo Roa Duterte, kanyang sinabi, and I quote, "Kindly improve your services before December. Tell us now if you cannot really improve on it because I will work. The next 2 years will be spent improving the telecommunications of this country without you." Alam ng Pangulo ang sentimiento at reklamo ng ordinaryong mamamayan tungkol sa ating mga telecoms company na Smart at Globe. At ngayon, merong ang pangatlo pa. Sabi nga ng Pangulo, the patience of the Filipino is reaching its limit. I will be the one to articulate the anger of the Filipino people. Napapanahon na ito, lalo na sa gitna tayo ng isang pandemya, kung saan ang ating mga kababayan ay umaasa sa digital technologies habang marami ang nasa work from home at mga transaksyon tulad ng shopping ay ginagawa na online. Sa madaling salita, shape up or ship out. At ngayong Disyembre, tulad ng sinabi ni Presidente, kamustahin natin ang progress ng ating telcos. Makakasama natin via remote ang mga representatives ng iba't ibang telcos sa bansa. Kasama na po ang Smart, Globe, pati po ang Dito at Converge. At syempre po, kasama rin natin ang regulator, kasama po natin si NTC Commissioner Liel Cordoba at kasama rin po natin si NTC Deputy Commissioner Edgardo Cabarrios. Simulan na po natin ang ating talakayan. Unahin po natin, syempre, ang pinakamalaki po ata ngayon, no? Well, hindi ko alam kung sino sa kanilang pinakamalaki, pero yung sa dalawang telecoms company, gawin na lang nating alphabetical, no? Dahil Alpanilio starts with an A, unahin po natin ang Smart. Mr. Alpanilio, thank you for joining us. Nagkaroon po ng deadline ng Presidente. Kinakailangan po ma-improve ang ating telecoms industry. Humingi po ang mga telecoms company ng tulong para mapabilis ang pagtatayo ng mga towers nang sa ganon mapabuti ang serbisyo. Ginawa naman po ito ng gobyerno, inutasan ng lahat ng lokal na mga pamahalaan kasama ng mga konseho na huwag maging hadlang sa mga application ng pagtatayo ng telecoms tower. So ngayong meron pong mga telecoms tower, ano na po ang estado ng serbisyo ng Smart? Mr. Panlilio, the floor is yours.
Hi, Secretary Harry Roque. Good afternoon po and maraming salamat po for inviting us over. I have a very short deck lang to share with you, Secretary. 5 pages long lang. Just wanted to really brief you on what we have done. No? So, Julie, do you have the slides, please? I guess to start with, next page. Alam po natin, during the pandemic, ang trabaho po namin talaga is to keep every Filipino connected. So we worked very hard to really do that despite the lockdown. Marami pong naging issue noong una sa lockdown kasi hindi po makaikot ng mga tao namin, but we were able to find a way when we were able to also get our IATF IDs and we were able to do work and be safe with our customers kasi naglagay rin po kami ng mga PPEs para po siguradong hindi mahawa ang aming mga customers. So what we did was we actually gave about 800,000 to 800,000 customers free upgrades for free speed boosts and also internet services. And for postpaid po, nagbigay ng Smart, nagbigay rin po kami ng mga free data allocation. Of course, we work to help support the economic recovery. We had packages of work at home and study at home kasi alam po natin na everybody was already at home working and studying. And also e-commerce kasi nagbebenta rin po sila, naging livelihood na rin po nila ang online. No? And of course, we were supporting government in a lot of the initiatives like the 911, and I think mag-announce mo po tayo ng 888. So any messages that hotline to the President, tinutulungan po namin ng gobyerno. And nagbigay rin po kami ng mga libreng access po sa mga certain websites like sa DepEd, tsaka sa CHED, and Red Cross to make sure that we have access. No? Next page. we continue to invest po. Talagang kasi po ang aming priority is really to have a good customer experience. So we have been investing. The past 5 years, we've invested 260 billion pesos. And then last year alone, 73 billion po yung ginastos namin, which is 45% of our total revenues. This year po, I think po, despite the fact that we had about 2-3 months, hindi kami makaikot because of the lockdown, I think we will be spending still the same amount, almost the same amount as 2019. So we've ramped up after the lockdown and with the help of government, and papasalamat po kami sa mga tulong na ginawa ng gobyerno to make it easy for us to really build our towers. Next page po. And really, this chart is very important for us because ang telecommunications po is napaka-complex na network po. But our current coverage, wireless population is 96% of the Philippines with an average download speed of 23 Mbps. As of as of November 2020, and according to Ookla, which is a third-party agency that measures us, no. But what I want to highlight here is really our number of cell sites that we have put on service. We have about 10,069 sites, 58,538 base stations, 29,526 4G base stations. So marami po talagang trabaho ang kailangan gawin to really make sure that we continue to improve our coverage. I also want to highlight that we have the biggest fiber optic network po sa bansa kasi importante pong malink ang mga base stations with fiber optic and yung pong aming fiber offering sa mga consumers namin. So we have over 422,000 kilometers of fiber nationwide, and we have close to 4 million fiber ports that are available today. Ang importante po rin sa amin are mga data centers po, no? Kasi as you know po, ito pong isa yung gateway po. A lot of our traffic come from abroad, and that is expensive. So what we are trying to do is to convince people like Amazon, Alibaba, or Google to actually host locally so that hindi na ho masyadong ganun kamahal, no? So they can host in our data center so that we can bring down the cost, no? So at present, we have 95% of cities and municipalities covered, and our average speed in Metro Manila now is 32.8 Mbps download speed. Next page. And ang gusto po namin is to really elevate the Philippines to global standards. So sa mobile po, ang aming target po by next year is really Metro Manila and key cities, at least 30 Mbps po siya consistently. And as we move forward in 2022, with 51% population coverage of 60 Mbps. In 2023, 70% population coverage at 60 Mbps. 2024 at 80% population at 60 Mbps, and at 2025, 84% also at 60 Mbps. And then for fixed, may mga plans po kami na 10 Mbps. Gusto po namin gawin a minimum average broadband speed is maging 20 Mbps po. And we have a major effort now that we started in August to migrate all our copper subscribers, which is very problematic, really to fiber services. No? So, ang gagawin po namin by almost end of next year, 85% of our copper would have been migrated to fiber. And again, kailangan po natin para ma-achieve din po natin itong mga space na to is tama rin yung devices. Kasi kung mali po yung devices ninyo or you are not in the right coverage or right devices, hindi rin po natin ma-achieve yung tamang speed. Next page. And ito po, just wanted to share with you, and we're very proud of this, but again, we want to elevate our benchmarking. We're comparing ourselves also to other countries in our region. Based on independent studies po, ang PLDT po ay sa lahat po ng hirap na ginagawa namin ay happy to report po na ang PLDT average speed po is 30.68 Mbps, which is higher than the Philippine average of 26 Mbps. And for a speed test, ang PLDT Smart is classified as a fastest fixed and mobile network the first 6 months of 2020, according to Ookla, again a third-party agency. And for wireless, Smart's average speed is 19.45 Mbps, higher than Philippine average of 16.89. And again po, as I said, we are trying to benchmark ourselves globally sa umlaut po versus, which is really a global standard. We just recently won a Best in Test award for the best rated broadband coverage, download, and latency experience. And we also garnered through Open Signal the best video experience score of 42.2, again better than national average. Maski po nakuha po namin itong mga numbers na ito and itong mga recognition na to, Secretary, hindi kami titigil po to continue to improve. So we have actually just finished our budget session for next year, and we will continue to invest for sure in fiber and also in our wireless coverage. That's it po, Secretary. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alpandillo. Joining us next is Globe President Ernest Cuno. Kukwento ko lang po sa inyo na magkakilala po si Mr. Ernest Cu at saka ang ating presidente dahil nung mayor pa po ang ating presidente, nagpunta po si Mr. Cu para magtayo ng Telecom Tower. At nung kailan lang po ay sumapi po sa aming talakayan sa Malago si Mr. Cu para nga mag-request na mapabilis yung proseso ng pagtatayo ng mga telecom tower na pinagbigyan naman po ng ating presidente. So, Mr. Cu, matapos po mapagbigyan ni presidente ang hiniling ninyo sa Palasyo, ano na pong improvement sa service po ng Globe? The floor is yours, Mr. Cu.
Secretary Harry, maraming salamat to sa opportunity na binigay niyo sa amin, no, na makapag-report. Yung sa unang mong tanong, malaki ho na itulong. And I will show you in my deck on how you guys have actually assisted us in building this particular network of ours. No? So let me share my screen lang ho. Let me see. I hope you can all see my screen.
Kita po namin.
Okay. So, kagaya ho ng tinanong nyo, ng aming competitor na PLDT, ang aming hong ambition is to continually upgrade the network experience for all technologies na meron kami and we participate in. Now, this means accelerating cell site builds, bringing 4G everywhere and 5G where it matters. Sinasabi ho namin where it matters kasi hindi pa ho prevalent ang 5G handsets. Ngayon pa lang ho dumarating ang mga murang handset. At kami rin ho ay tutulong magdala ng mas mura pang handset na 5G para maging affordable ho yan sa ating mga kababayan. Isa pa ho ay fast-tracking the build of fiber to the home. Alam naman ho natin na nagbago na ang gamit sa bahay. Ang bahay ho ngayon ay hindi lang ho pamamahay ang nangyayari sa bahay, kundi pati pag-aaral at pagtatrabaho. So napaka-importante. At nalaman ho din namin, nakagaya na rin ng competitors namin, na fiber is the most important thing. Kaya ho, tuloy-tuloy ho ang build namin ng fiber. So our capex ho namin for 2020 has reached about 50 billion. Ito nga ho, hindi maaabot kung hindi natin na-improve ang ating mga permitting situation. So napakaganda ho na nagkaroon ho ng tulong to be able to spend this kind of capex. And this is just a component of about 256 billion that we've spent on our network over the past last 6 years. No? So napakarami na ang nagawa natin. So sa permits ho, 1,857 permits from July to November lang ho. This is a record for us. Karamihan ho ng LGU ho ay nakatumutulong na rin. Marami ho, talagang ilang araw lang nire-release ng permit. Yung iba naman nasa linggo pa rin, pero again, pababa ng pababa ang turnaround time ng mga permits. No? So this has allowed us to actually exceed our rollout targets for the year. Nung umpisa rin ho, nung lockdown, napakahirap, takot ang tao lumabas, ang mga tao namin, mahigpit ang mga checkpoint, hindi kami makapagtrabaho. Pero nung huli, coupled with itong permit issuance, nakahabol ho kami, and I think we will be able to make itong target na 1,300 additional sites for the year. Kahit ho yung aming upgrade ng 4G LTE to make 4G LTE available everywhere, we're close to 11,000 sites have been upgraded to higher capacity 4G LTE. Nagkaroon ho kami ng programa to help individuals change their SIMs and their handsets at least to 4G LTE. That way, yung kanilang experience with video and social media will also be significantly better. And of course, the fiberization upgrade. Inamin ho namin na finokus ho namin ang aming resources nung una sa wireless kasi mabilis makarating ang wireless sa ating mga kababayan. Pero nagbago nga ho ang gamit ng tao. Kaya ho naging mag-aggressive kami sa fiberization. So we should be hitting 600,000 lines additional in 2020. And of course, in Metro Manila, our goal is to have 80% of the NCR covered in 5G, including 17 cities in Metro Manila, Visayas, and Mindanao. So this has all brought about an 1,100 cities and municipalities experiencing significant service improvements in call, text, and data services, or in about 80 provinces. No? So this has all led naman to a continuous increase in download speeds for all of the Philippines. Ito ho ang uplastas na minention ni Al. Yeah, we have all contributed to bringing the speeds of the country up significantly to 28 Mbps for fixed broadband now, and about 19 Mbps for mobile. No? So talagang malaki yung improvement in video experience as well as average download speeds improvement, even on a quarter-on-quarter basis from Q4 2017 all the way to the first quarter of 2020. That's a very big and significant increase. So another important metric is the availability of 4G in the country. This was only sitting at 64% as of the end of 2017, and is now approximating about 85% of the cities and availability of 4G. No, may isa pang factor na importante rin yung affordability. Because of competition and because of the scale that we are achieving now, Globe prepaid broadband internet can now be had for at least at the very low price now of about 11.25, or somewhere even averaging sa fixed na 9 pesos per gigabyte. So talagang bumaba na ho ang presyo, and in comparison to the ASEAN countries, we are one of the lowest at this stage of the game. No? So that's really another important thing. And much like our competitor, we have also been awarded several awards by international groups like OpenSignal. One was named the Global Rising Star because we have one of the most improved video experience among 30 top telcos in the world. No? OpenSignal also in the same report awarded us the best in voice app experience and joint winner in games experience. So tama ho sinabi ni Al, now we are not just hoping to bring ourselves up against each other in the Philippines, but also benchmarking us against the global best. No, ang hope po namin talaga at Globe is best or first world internet for the Filipino. And the International Institute of Management Development has also ranked the Philippines top 10 globally in terms of telco investments. Hindi ho pinagkakaila na ang laki ho ng porsyento ng aming revenue ay napupunta dito sa investments and network. No, we are closing in on close to 50% of our revenues are plowed back into network investments. There are very few, if any, industries in this country that plow back as much money into network investments as the telcos. Pero nangailangan ho yan kasi nga ho, napakalaki ho ang pangailangan ng ating bansa in terms of the network. And of course, the Filipino people have become a lot more digital, coming from even on banking and on payments. Kasama na rin ho yung aming GCash dito. No? So for 2021, malaki rin ang ambition namin. We are hoping to spend over what we did here in 2020 with the improved permitting. We hope to spend about 70 billion, which will be comprised of about 1 million fiber lines, which is 2.5 times what the target is of 2020. We want to aggressively roll out 5G in more municipalities. Hindi raw namin kinalimutan ng mobile. Alam ko importante na ang fix sa tao, pero importante rin ang mobile because as they go out and resume their daily lives, babalik na naman ho ang kanilang increased usage in the mobile network instead of the home. So we are building 2,000 cell site ho, including IBS ho, that means indoor base stations kasama ang buildings. Kasama na rin ho ang mga towers na tatayo ng aming mga tower company partners. No? Okay. Isa pa ho ang binigay namin sa publiko with the advent of 4G LTE is the availability ho of VoLTE or Voice over LTE or Voice over Wi-Fi. Hindi naman ho natin magagawang 100% lahat ng homes, lahat ng building, malagyan ng indoor coverage. No? Wala akong ganyan kahit saan sa mundo. So we will use Wi-Fi as a substitute so that you can make calls on the cellular network using Wi-Fi. This will give you clearer calls, faster call setup, and hopefully near zero dropped calls. So malaki rin ho ang ambisyon, kaya napakalaking bagay ho. Once again, sinasabi ko yung na napagbigyan ho tayo ng gobyerno, tinutulungan tayo ng ARTA, tinutulungan ho tayo nila ng DILG, na ho si Secretary Anyo. Siya ho ay talagang nagmo-monitor ng mga permits at talagang tumutulong to remove a lot of the obstacles na nasa harap namin in obtaining these permits.
Okay.
Ngayon, alam ho natin na...
Mr. Ku, I need to cut you now po, no? Kasi maraming tanong po ang ating kasama sa media, no? So siguro po later on we can share yung additional information nyo sa open forum natin, no? Kung maalala nyo po, ang presidente naman, hindi lang po siya sa SONA na nagsalita na hindi po siya masaya doon sa telecoms, no? Nung bumisita po yung Chinese Premier, natatandaan ko po yon, doon po nagdesisyon si presidente na ibigay ang third telco sa kumpanya na ngayon po ay ang tawag ay dito. At ang intention nga po ni presidente nung binigay niya yung third telco sa dito, para magkaroon ng mas malaking competition pa sa panig ng dalawang telecoms company na Globe at Smart. At tanungin naman po natin, kamustahin natin, ano na bang nangyari sa dito na nais na presidente na maging additional competitor nang magkaroon tayo ng mas mabuting serbisyo galing po sa mga telcos. Sir, with the limited time, Mr. Adel Tamano, are you in the house? Ano na ba ho ang status ng rollout ng serbisyo ng dito? And when can we expect a third competitor to Smart and Globe?
Thank you, Secretary Roque. I'll make a very quick rundown of some key milestones that we've done. And we have provided your staff, Your Honor, with a 3-minute video. So with your permission, sir, may I begin?
Go, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I won't add much to that. Please just allow me to say that our government and our ambitions are actually, our aims are actually quite ambitious. We want to double download speeds by year 1 of our operations, quadruple it by year 2, and achieve 87% population coverage by 2025. We are very hopeful, Your Honor, that come January 7, 2021, we will pass our first audit and we will have our commercial launch in March of 2021. So that's it, Your Honor, and thank you for this opportunity to present on behalf of Dito Telecommunications.
Maraming salamat, Attorney Adel Tamano from Dito. And finally, meron pong isang bagong korporasyon na nagbibigay ng internet, no? Ito po yung Converge. So we have Jesus Romero of Converge. Sir, ano na po ang status na inyong pagbibigay serbisyo sa publiko?
Good morning po, Secretary. If I may, I just have 3 short slides. I will share it now. Ang Converge, simple lang ang objective is to deliver as many high-speed broadband lines to Philippine households and businesses nationwide. Unang update sa ating network in terms of high-speed fiber ports that are available. We are already at about 3.5 million ports. That's the target for the end of the year. And we plan to add more for 2021. That's an additional 1.8, bringing us to 5.3 million ports nationwide. For 2021, about 7% will be in Vismin. That's because we're still building our backbone. Objective is to makarating tayo sa 55% household coverage for high-speed broadband nationwide. Para mangyari ito, nagtatayo si Converge ng sarili niyang domestic backbone magmula sa Apari hanggang sa General Santos. Halos tapos na ang backbone sa Luzon. Nag-ooperate na ang Converge from La Union hanggang Sorsogon. And we are building a domestic submarine backbone. Ito yung magiging pinakabago sa Pilipinas. Malaki ang capacity, 24 fiber pairs. Kung meron gustong makipag-cooperate or makigamit, marami po tayong capacity. Sa international, pinalalaki rin natin. Sa ngayon, ang capacity ng Converge, 1.4 terabits. And gumagamit po kami ng 8 cable systems at 7 cable landing station. Siguro sabihin na natin yan ang advantage nung wala kang sariling cable station. Pwede mong gamitin yung cable ang lahat. So bumibili po tayo sa iba-ibang providers, including ang dati kong boss, si Mr. Ernest and kaibigan natin si Alpan Lilio. Itong dalawang initiative na to, ang domestic fiber rollout, domestic backbone, international submarine cable, ang CAPEX program po ng Converge 2020-21 iaabot ng 35 billion pesos. Mas maliit po siya kasi iisa lang ang negosyo natin, fiber broadband lang po. Ang pangalawang pinaka-importante sa amin, bukod sa pagdadala ng mabilis na internet sa mga customer using fiber, ay mas serve yung mga customer natin ng maayos. Nabanggit na ni Al at ni Ernest lahat ng mga challenges during the pandemic. Pero nung nilit po yun, gumalaw tayo ng mabilis. Nagdadagdag po kami ng in-house team. Actually, ang CEO nasa picture. So far, we have ordered 400 additional vans. Mga kalahati na di-deliver. Installation capacity natin, marami tayong nakuhang reklamo noon kasi kinulang tayo. Dumoble na po magmula nung nilist yung ECQ. Outsource po ito. Siguro mga 3,000 trabaho na ang na-create natin dahil nag-expand tayo dyan. Call center capacity, more than double na po. Nag-outsource na kami, 4 na outsource call center. And syempre, automation, maraming self-service platforms, may mobile app para yung mga customer hindi na kailangan tumawag palagi ng call center. Nabanggit ko yung expansion ng domestic and international backbone. And finally, nagkaroon tayo ng mga problema pero malaking trabaho po yung hardening ng network. Lahat ng nodes, nilalagyan namin ng fiber redundancy. Yung ating mechanical and electrical or sabihin nating power, air conditioning, modernize po. And ang aming third core backbone will be up by end of December, although we have an internal target of December 15. Yun lang po ang update from Converge, Secretary.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Jesus Romero. No? Kasama na po natin ngayon si NTC Commissioner Liel Cordoba, ang matalik nating kaibigan, at kasama rin natin si NTC Deputy Commissioner Edgardo Cabarrios. No? Alam ko po merong prepared presentation si Commissioner Cordova, pero magtatanong po muna ako, no? Bago po maghimutok ang presidente na shape out or ship out, ang trabaho po talaga ng NTC ay bilang regulator, no? Ang NTC po ang legally tasked na siguraduhin na nagbibigay ng tamang serbisyo, yung mga binigyan ng prangkisa ng gobyerno na isang pribilehiyo at hindi karapatan, no? So ang unang tanong ko muna, Commissioner, bakit kinailangan pong maghimutok muna ang presidente para gumalaw ang mga telcos na pagbutihin ang serbisyo? Hindi ba ho nakita na ng NTC noong mga panahon na yon na marami talagang pagkukulang ang mga telcos? At matapos po yan, then you can tell us kung ano na po yung improvement na nagawa ng mga telcos pursuant to your observations. Commissioner Cordova, the floor is yours.
Magandang umaga po sa lahat at bago po ako sumagot ay magpapasalamat ko kay Secretary Harry Roque sa pag-invite po sa amin dito sa press briefing na ito at happy feast day po of the Immaculate Conception sa inyong lahat. Your Honor, ang nangyari po kasi ay during that time po, simula po nung March ay talaga po nagkaroon kami ng problema doon po sa surge po ng increase in demand ng mga 500% po ang aming estimate. At ang naging problema po ay nahirapan po ang ating mga telcos na magpalabas ng tao dahil po rin sa mga lockdowns. So doon po siguro naramdaman ng ating Pangulo na medyo sumama ang service po ng telecommunications because of the surge in demand at saka din po naman yun pong nahirapan po na mag-maintain at mag-roll out because of the several months po ng lockdowns. Kaya nga po ang ginawa po namin, talaga nakipagtulungan po kami sa IATF at para makuha po ng exemption para sa ating mga personnel ng mga telcos. Kaya po nakahabol naman po at gumanda po ito starting po May onwards. But marami pa pong kailangan gawin, Your Honors, and ang sabi nga po namin din sa Senate at sa Congress, ang problema rin po kasi namin ay napakababa po ng penalty na amin pong pwedeng i-impose sa ating mga telecommunications companies. Ang ginagamit po kasi na batas as of now is the 1936 Public Service Act. Based on that po ay 200 pesos per violation per day lang po ang aming pwedeng ipataw. Kaya po kami ay humihingi sa Kongreso na kung pwedeng pataasin po ito na 2 million per violation per day. Dahil base po sa pag-aaral, yung pong 200 pesos noong 1936 ay nasa 1.5 to 2 million na po. So yun po ang hinihingi namin since it's a penal clause, kailangan pong amendahan ang 1936 Public Service Act. At saka po napakalaking bagay po na tulong ng Presidente na hindi po namin naman kayang abutin ay yun pong kanyang sinabi sa mga LGUs na bilisan ng permits. Matagal na po namin itong nagiging problema sa rollout pero dahil po nga sa political will ng ating Presidente, siya lang po naman ang nakapagpaandar nito ng maayos. So malaking bagay po ito as I will show you later. Because of his speeches at ang kanyang warning sa mga LGUs, ang umakyat po ang release po ng issuance of permits, construction permits by 600% ang inakyat po because of the President's political will. Yan po ang naging istorya ng ngayon 2020 kaya po medyo gumaganda po ang takbo ng ating rollout ng telecommunications companies at maintenance po. Secretary Roque.
Okay, maraming salamat po. Pero Commissioner, ang tanong po, the President gave the telecoms company until December to shape up or ship out. Ano po ang rekomendasyon nyo kay Presidente? Did they shape up or should they ship out?
So far po, based on third-party audit at saka yung pong pag-test sa kanila, gumanda naman po ang kanilang serbisyo. Nagkaroon po ng improvement tayo as I will show you.
You have the floor po. Paki-share na po kung ano yung observations ninyo.
Opo. Just very briefly, Secretary, first slide please. Simula po nang umupo ang ating mahal na Pangulo, President Duterte noong 2016, July of 2016, ay tumaas na po by 262.70% ang speed ng ating fixed broadband. Nagsimula po yan noong July 2016 ng 7.91, now it's at 28.69 Mbps. End of November 2020. This is based on 100 million tests conducted po by UCLA. Third party po ito. Siya po ang ginagamit ng ibang bansa din at ito po ay very reliable naman po itong kanilang mga figures. Next slide please. Sa mobile naman po ay ganun din. Umakyat po simula July 2016 from 7.44 Mbps. Ngayon po is nasa 18.49 Mbps na or a 148.52% increase in speed. Next slide please. In-isolate po namin ang resulta ng January to November of 2020 dahil dito po nangyari ang SONA pronouncement of the President. Kung mapansin nyo po, simula po nung mataas nung February 2020 ay nung pong March ay bumaba siya dahil dyan po nagsimula ang pandemic, lockdown at work from home and study from home. Kaya po nag-surge po ng 500% ang demand ng gamit. So bumaba po siya pero nagsimula naman po siyang tumaas nung Mayo, nung medyo nakabawi na po tayo sa rollout at saka po sa maintenance nung nakakalabas na po ang ating mga na-lockdown na mga telco personnel. Kasabay po niyan, aside from the 500% increase in demand, nagkaroon po ng several typhoons, ang Ambo, ang Quinta, Rolly at Ulysses. At the same time po, from March up to November ay several lockdowns po nangyari. Actually, in March up to end of April ay whole Luzon was on lockdown. But despite po that, ay nagkaroon po ng increase, ng trajectory po na papataas. So, nasa 28.69 po na tayo ngayon sa fixed. Next slide please. Mbps. Sa mobile naman po, ganun din po naman ang situation. Pataas din naman po siya. As of November, it's 18.49 Mbps. Next slide please. Actually, ano po ang naging dahilan? Bakit po nagkaganyan? Dahil po sa political will ng ating Pangulo sa kanyang SONA pronouncement at tulungan po ng iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno, nagkaroon po ng Joint Memorandum Circular No. 1 ng ARTA, DILG, DICT, Department of Housing, at nagtulong-tulong po. Just to give you an example, ito po ang mga permits na lumabas. In 2019, ang average per month ng permit po na lumalabas sa construction is 63 for Globe at for Smart naman po ay 50 permits. Ngayon po, from July to November 2020, si Globe po ang nag-average ng 371 permits. Si Smart ay 95 permits dahil po yan sa pagbaston po ng ating Pangulo at ng DILG at iba't ibang ahensya, nagkaroon po ng 590% or almost 600% increase dun po sa bilang ng permits na lumabas on an average monthly basis. Sa Smart naman po almost 200%. Next slide please. Dahil po dyan ay nagkaroon naman po ng magandang tower build. Yung pong average ng Globe ay noong pong 2019 nasa 92 towers per month pero ngayon pong 2020 dahil po dyan naging 132 towers per month ang nabuo nila or around 45%. Si Smart po ang mas mataas po noong 2019, 237 per month. Ang average naman po ngayon is 63. But I will show you later kung saan po nag-concentrate ang Smart because Smart concentrated not on towers but on fiber optic network. Next slide please. Dahil po dito sa fast tracking ng towers ay as of now ay nakapagdagdag po ng towers ang ating mga telecommunications companies ng marami. So we are at 22,400 towers month to date as of November 2020. Okay, next slide please. Ito po yung binanggit ko kanina, Secretary, at sa ating mga manonood. Si PLDT po ay nag-concentrate on fiber optic. Nagdagdag po siya for 2020 ng almost 100,000 kilometers of fiber. Si Globe naman po nakapagdagdag ng 12,500 kilometers of fiber, converge almost 19,200, si Dito Telecom's 13,152. So ang total rollout po ng fiber optic network for the year para po sa lahat is 144,727 kilometers. Although may problema rin po kami sa fiber dahil po sa right of way at saka sa permitting at medyo marami pa rin po ang ating nalay na fiber. Next slide please. So moving forward, ano po ba ang ating mga gagawin at ang para gumanda pa lalo for December up to 2021. Actually po, we are pushing for the commercial operations of Dito Telecommunity. Kung maaari po nga, mas mapaaga, they are going to start commercial operations on March 2021, but pwedeng paagahin kasi po ang talagang whip or stick dito po sa laban na ito ay yung pong threat of competition. So dito is very aggressive. So kung mapapansin po ninyo, si Smart at si Globe ay talaga pong gumastos for the past several years dahil alam po nila na papasok po itong competitor na based po sa initiative ng ating Pangulo on the na tinatawag po nating third telco initiative. Magkakaroon po talaga ng competition sa market, sa serbisyo, sa presyo, at ang important factor po na pumasok din is magkaroon na po ng mobile number portability. Ibig po sabihin, using your Globe number, ay pwede ka pong lumipat sa dito, parehong number, or pwede ka pong lumipat, ang Smart number pwede pong lumipat sa dito and vice versa. So, yun pong dahilan na mag-ibang yung numero ay mawawala na po yun dahil by early 2021 ay meron po tayong mobile number portability. Now, tuloy-tuloy naman po tayo na yung pong streamlining efforts sa pag-release ng permits na mabilisan, tulong-tulong po tayo doon with ARTA, with DICT, and with the other government agencies. Number 3, nakikiusap nga po kami na kung pwede wag lang i-limit sa towers yung pong joint memorandum circular, kung pwede pong isama rin po yung fiber optic networks para po mapabilis din ang pag-roll out nito. Meron nga po kami sanang panawagan sa DPWH dahil meron po silang Department Order number 73. Pinirmahan po ito noong 2014 ni former Secretary Singson. Pinagbawal po kasi sa national roads ang paglagay sa right of way ng DPWH ng mga fiber optic cables. Kaya po nahihirapan ang ating mga telcos, kumukuha po sila ng sariling right of way. Kung maaari po sana ay maamyandahan po ito, sumulat na po kami sa DPWH para po matulungan tayo sa ating rollout. Now, another item po na ginagawa natin with DICT is yun na nga pong common tower arrangement agreements ay inaayos na po nila for implementation na po ito. At saka po, well, in other countries, number 5, ang ginagawa po talaga ng other countries is not only the private sector ang gumagastos, but it's really the government, national government po ang nagawa ng national broadband, and the private sector, yung po mga private telcos ay nagli-lease lang po sa government. So the President recognized this, and yun nga po, pinalagyan po niya ng budget ang national broadband sa DICT, sa budget po ng DICT, at ito po ay magsisimula na po next year. I think the proposed budget of the ICT for the national broadband for 2021 is around 6 billion. So kapag nangyari po yan, ang ating po mga telcos, katulad sa ibang bansa, ay mag-release na lang po sa infrastructure na gagawin ng ating pamahalaan. Yun lang po, Mr. Secretary, tuloy-tuloy naman po kami sa aming pagtutulungan with our telcos para po mapaganda, mapabilis ang internet at serbisyo at mapababa po ang presyo.
Meron lang po akong katanungan, no? Sir, as regulator, sinasabi natin na nagkaroon ng improvement mula nung nagbanta ang ating Pangulo. Pero ang tanong, how do we compare with our ASEAN neighbors? Yung sinasabi po natin na speed ng internet, 26, no? Average, no? Kulelat pa ba ho tayo sa ASEAN? Baka naman nag-improve, pero kulelat pa rin tayo. I mean, tapatan po tayo, no?
Opo. Actually, Your Honors, meron po kaming slides for that. Can you put that up? Actually po, Mr. Arceo, can you put that up, yung slides natin compared to other countries in the ASEAN, Asia-Pacific region? Actually po, Your Honors, if titignan po ninyo, we are in the middle. We are in the middle po. Can you put up the slides on those?
Opo, po ng slides.
Mr. Arceo? Ayan, is that the first slide?
Nako.
Okay.
Pero bagamat nag-improve po, we're still only number 32. Nako, kaya po siguro marami pa rin nagrereklamo, no, pagdating doon sa speed, lalo na ngayon na meron tayong online teaching, no? Bago po naghimutok ang presidente, would you have an idea kung ano yung place natin in the whole of Asia?
Actually po, Your Honors, if Secretary, ito po sa Asia po ito, we are number 32 out of 50. Pero this is as of October dahil po yun pong resulta ng ibang bansa ay wala pa. Next slide please. Sa fixed po yun, sa mobile, we are number 34 out of 50 sa Asia. So actually po, tuloy-tuloy naman po tayong tumatas. Kaya lang, Secretary, babanggitin ko po, yung pong mga bansa na nasa taas po natin, ipapakita ko po mamaya sa inyo, ay ang gumagastos po sa infrastructure ay yun pong gobyerno. So hindi po sila namamire in red tape sa mga LGUs. At ano po, Mr. Arceo, can you show the slide nung ginagastos ng ibang bansa na mas mabilis sa
makita eh.
internet?
Can you increase it?
Ito po nga, dahil nga po magkakaroon tayo ng National Broadband Network, ay makakatulong po ito. Hindi yan, yung sa number 14, slide 14.
Okay.
Yan po, Secretary, kung makikita po ninyo, yung mga nangunguna na bansa sa atin ay grabe po ang ginagastos ng gobyerno para sa kanilang infrastructure network. For example, ang South Korea, which is being lauded as one of the fastest internet na bansa, ang ginagastos po nila is 24 billion pesos. 24 billion US dollars, sorry po. Ang Taiwan, 2.4 billion US dollars. Ang Hong Kong, 18 billion US dollars. Ang Japan, 162 billion US dollars. Sa atin po, Secretary, ay magsisimula pa lang po tayong gumastos ng 6 billion next year. Sa China po ito, this is very substantial.
We get the point, Commissioner, no? Pero I think from the point of view of the President and the public, number 34 in Asia is still not ideal, no? And probably many will agree, hindi pa rin katanggap-tanggap, no? So we really need to double time. If we need to spend money from government, so be it po, no? Because ang Kongreso naman will listen to your advice as the specialized agency. Pumunta na po tayo sa ating open forum. Meron po nagpadala sa akin, hindi lang po media, taong bayan. Why are telcos quick to bill and cut service but so inept in customer service? Please give your procedures on customer service and how quick do you respond? At ang gagawin ko po, I will dial a customer service at pakikinggan po natin kung anong maririnig natin. Nagri-ring na po.
Good afternoon, Armenio hearing.
Oo.
With our limited manpower, we have focused all our agents to resolve your concerns. While the option to speak with an agent is not available, we are committed to serving you through our mobile apps. You may use them, and we will call you back as soon as we can.
Well, anyway, that's an actual ano po, no, sagot sa customer service. So, could we ask the two telecoms company to respond, please? Sa internet po, talagang halos imposible makakontak ng customer service.
Maybe I can lead the answer, no?
Yes.
Ngayon ho, napakahirap po mag-staff ng ating mga call center dahil sa pandemic, no? There have been an enhanced number of calls kasi nga ho, mas sensitibo ang publiko dahil sa technology ng telco ay napaka-impress sa buhay nila ngayon. At hindi natin kayang i-handle lahat po ng outages kung ika nga, no, sa ating bansa. Sabay-sabay ho ang tama, meron tayong calamity, meron ho tayong mga digging ng mga kalsada na pag tinamaan ng ating fiber, babaksak ho ang serbisyo, no? So ang ginagawa ho namin, we're enhancing our self-service capability to enable the public to be able to call us ho through to the app, to communicate with us through the app, and that way we can dispatch as best as we can. But like any company ho sa Pilipinas, hindi naman ho kami immune sa pandemic. No? As much as we want to open the call center, sometimes pagbukas, tatamaan ng COVID, sarado na naman. Hindi naman ho unique at hindi naman ho immune ang mga aming call center agent, kahit libo-libo ho sila sa ganyang hong mga challenges. So we have to resort to technological means to be able to serve as many people as we can and as quickly as we can. Hindi naman ho nagkukulang ang pagtatry ho namin, no? Pag-attempt to try and serve, pero talaga hong we are very challenged. It is very difficult, and we have to just face that reality and continue to improve the quality of the networks, and that way they don't come down.
Thank you, Mr. Ku. Mr. Panlilio, would you like to comment?
Sabi nga ni Ernest, we are using technology to help us and aid us. Although some of them might not be able to come to the office in the call center, we use the same products we offer the public, no? Mga work from home na ginagawa naming connectivity. So we have a lot of people focusing on customer service from their homes, no? We also, I guess, provided systems to them. We're also looking at AI as a way to be able to answer very common questions. But to your point, Secretary, there is still room for improvement, definitely. And it's something that we're also looking at. Aside from connectivity, I think it's the processes and the customer care that we are looking at. It has been my North Star, sir, is how do we serve our customers well? So marami pa kaming kailangan ayusin, and that has been our message. And we will also continue to invest next year, even much more than we are spending this year. So just to support also, I guess, Commissioner Cordoba's message that we will not stop investing, but we will definitely have to work with government to help us. No? Thank you.
Very quickly, Commissioner, ito bang customer service pinakikialaman din po ng NTC?
Actually po, I think DTI po, but we were helping them also. Kasi po tumutulong kami sa kapag nakakatanggap po kami ng mga complaints also in our office, ay nag-respond din po kami, and we help the people po na nangangailangan ng tulong.
Salamat po. Yusek Rocky, for the first questions, please.
Okay, question from Raymond Tinasa of Bombo Radio for NTC Commissioner Cordoba. In fairness daw po, napapansin na niya na gumaganda naman daw yung telecommunication service because nakakapanood na daw po siya ng Netflix at okay naman daw yung Zoom meetings. Sana daw po tuloy-tuloy pa ito at mas lalong gumanda. Ano daw po ang plano ng NTC para dito?
Thank you for that question po. Unang-una po, ang nabanggit namin is ang key dito is competition. Kaya po yung third telco initiative of the President, pagpasok po ng dito, first quarter of 2021, talaga pong maglalaban po sila sa merkado, cutthroat po ang competition, at gaganda po ang serbisyo lalo at bababa ang presyo. Pero on the part of government, tutulong naman po tayo dun sa permitting process para po mas mapabilis pa ito, to arm the three of them sa pakikipaglaban po nila sa isa't isa. At ang end result po ay magandang serbisyo para sa publiko at mababa po na presyo. Maraming salamat.
Second question po niya, ano daw po yung global best practice sa telco infra? Government initiative ba o private sector driven?
Actually po, as I have shown you in the slide earlier, ang napansin po namin in other countries po, and marami na pong gumagawa nito, talaga pong government is putting up the infrastructure. Dahil for every 2% increase in the broadband penetration and speed ay malaki po ang epekto sa GDP. So, ang maganda po nga ay nakita na po ng ating Pangulo na kailangan din gumastos ng gobyerno. Kaya po naman ang Kongreso at ang Executive ay nagtulungan para mapagbigyan po ng budget ang DICT for the National Broadband Project.
Ang third question po niya, sabi niya Vietnam has around 80,000 towers. Sa atin po, ilan po ba daw ang towers ang needed pa? And how was Vietnam able to put up that number of towers?
Okay, thank you for that question po. No? Ang Vietnam po right now I think has around 80,000 towers. So medyo malayo pa po ang ating hahabulan. We are now at 23,000. Si DICT po ay gagawa po ng 10,000 towers sa mga missionary sites. Pero just to let you know, government spending din po sa Vietnam ang nangyari because the 3 telcos in Vietnam are all owned by the government. Yung pong pinakamalaki, I think the name is VTEL. It is owned by the Ministry of Defense. Yun naman pong Vinaphone, subsidiary of BNPT or the Vietnam Post and Telecom Group. Yun naman pong Mobifone, managed by the Ministry of Information and Technology. So yun pong tatlong top telcos in Vietnam are all owned by the government and are catering to 93% of the consumers market. Kaya po kung mapapansin po ninyo, ang global best practice at ang moving forward po, ang mga gobyerno po ay gumagastos at tumutulong. Ang nangyari naman po ang mga telcos, private telcos ay maglilista lang po sa gobyerno. I think that is the project na gagawin po ng DICT and we are going in the right direction on that.
Opo, tanong naman para sa NTC ni Evelyn Quiroz. In a memorandum daw po signed by Commissioner Cordoba, the NTC in anticipation of a surge in internet traffic during the holidays has tasked telco firms and ISPs to guarantee uninterrupted rendering of the internet services during the holiday season. In case the telcos fail to deliver, are there measures in place to make the telcos liable?
Opo. Actually, thank you for that question. Inisyu po namin yung memorandum order na yan dahil nga po sa mungkahi ng Department of Health at ang IATF kung maaari po ang mga parties, reunions at ang sama-sama, pati nga po yung sa simbahan, ang misa daw po ngayon ay magiging online, pati po ang mga party. So napansin namin magkakaroon po ng surge ng demand ngayong Christmas, kaya po sabi namin sa mga telecommunications companies, please prepare for this because we should be on heightened alert and emergency preparations for December dahil nga po dyan. Kaya po kapag sila ay nagkaroon po ng problema, of course, ang amin pong is the Public Service Act. But kung sakali man pong grabe talaga maging outage, then we will have to resort to suspension of their service.
Opo,
Yun po ang pwede namin gawin. But based on experience naman po, so far, yung po mga online Zoom meetings at saka mga online parties, marami na po nangyayari so far, ay okay naman po. I heard, just to give you an anecdote, there's an owner of restaurant chain, nag-75th birthday po siya last Friday. Kwento po sa akin ito ng isa sa nag-attend. 300 people attended via Zoom, nagkaroon po ng mga programa, nagkaroon po ng mga performers, and for 3 hours, tuloy-tuloy po ito, wala naman po silang naging problema. So I hope this whole December, yung pong ganyan mga parties at mga reunions ay masuportahan po ng serbisyo ng ating mga telecommunications company.
Opo, tanong naman addressed to Globe, PLDT and Smart. Ang tanong po, the Philippines already has 17,850 cell sites according to the 2019 third quarter report by Tower Exchange, an informal network advisor in the market tower industry worldwide. And yet last week daw po, President Duterte stated that Filipinos were not getting their money's worth in paying for the slow broadband services offered by telco firms. What is the underlying reason for the allegedly lousy broadband services being given to the paying public for PLDT, Globe, and Smart?
Well, maybe I can say, first of all, I don't think it's a lousy service. Because if it's a lousy service, I don't think the examples that you heard today, na Zoom meetings going through, the country's BPO industry flourishing, and people watching Netflix and YouTube and Facebooking to their heart's content will be happening. No, I think that it's really just patience. We just need to continue to build. The country is undergoing a transformation from copper and wireless in terms of home internet into fiber. You heard Al mention that they're building significant capacity. You heard Converge mention they're building significant capacity. We are also building that significant capacity. And of course, yung ating pang isang problema sa country is that we also, aside from the permits, syempre naayos na, we also have a very challenging topography in this country. No? As much as beautiful as the islands are very difficult to cover with fiber. And that's what I think Commissioner Leal has been saying, no? Na it takes a hybrid of government and private sector investment to be able to really bring about fiber everywhere in this country. Because it cannot take a private sector initiative lang. Kami lang dalawa ni PLDT magtatayo niyan. At kahit na magsama ho kami, at talaga kong mahihirapan. But, the effort is continuing. As you have seen from both our presentations, there's a significant amount of money na i-invest in 2021. And once again, I think the public as well as the government will see a step up once again in performance of both the mobile and fixed network, particularly with the advent of 5G coming in.
For Smart po?
What Ernest said, no, I think as also I guess Commissioner Cordova said, nag-improve tayo, but we are not standing pat, no. I think pinakita rin yung listahan against other countries. I think maybe Korea might be too far because masyadong advanced sila, but to me, maybe if we can be at parity with Vietnam and Thailand, that is the benchmark that PLDT Smart is aiming for. So we do know that we have improved, but we do know that we can still get better, and we should get better for our Filipino customers.
Commissioner, doon po sa listahan ninyo, pang ilang po ang Vietnam at saka Thailand? Kasi I think tama naman na ang comparison natin, population-wise and economy-wise, we should be compared with countries like Vietnam and Thailand. Pang ilan po ang Vietnam at Thailand?
Sandali po, titignan ko po.
Next question muna po, para hindi sayang oras, no?
Opo, from Alan Nawala PNA. Unahin ko lang, Secretary, yung mga tanong sa telcos tsaka sa NTC. Why can't telcos use a dynamic bandwidth allocation? For example, many users have high bandwidth allocation but only use a portion of it, while other users have varying bandwidth needs. For sa telcos po,
To answer that question, the system, the way the fiber optic system, that's normally a shared system already. So the network dynamically allocates the bandwidth where it's needed up to the capped speed that the customer subscribed to. No? But just like anything else, there is a limit to the number of total gigabits that each fiber network, localized fiber network, can offer. And a lot of it has to do, if the variability and experience is there, dahil sa concurrency, yung pagsabay ho ng gamit. No? And of course, alam naman natin na with this pandemic, talagang tumaaso ang paggamit. Sabay na ho ang gamit sa bahay ng pag-aaral, pagtatrabaho, panonood ng mga streaming video, all happening at the same time by multiple people. Yan ho ang watch out with that. Kaya nga ho, you heard the same presentation from PLDT. We are no longer deploying copper. As a matter of fact, both of us have a very aggressive migration strategy to bring about fiber for most homes in the Philippines as much as we can. You know, we cannot avoid the fact that we are both legacy companies, that we have been rolling out copper for many years. And with the advent of fiber, we now have to come up to the times, no, and bring about fiber for most families in the country.
Opo, kunin ko na lang siguro sa smart to po tong second question. Why are internet plans still expensive in the Philippines? In the US daw po, for example, a $40 plan comes with 200 to 940 Mbps access already. In the Philippines daw po, Globe, for example, sells it a 100 Mbps plan for about $52. I'm sorry, for Globe.
Ernest, do you take that or?
Para sa Globe daw po ata. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the pricing you're talking about?
Yes,
Did I get that
yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir. Expensive daw po sa Philippines, unlike
Pricing to me, no, that's the question's been asked before, is a matter of scale. No, in terms of the number of subscribers on the fiber network, as we go further and have more homes and have more economies of scale, that pricing, I'm sure, will go down. You know, not only that, as the commissioner also said, a lot of the pricing is also based on how much capex we put down to the infra. And in most countries as well, as the commissioner also said, there is a sort of a cooperation between government, the public sector and the private sector in building out parts of the infrastructure, not the whole infrastructure. You know, that's why they can afford to bring the prices down. But I'm sure with the competition between Globe, PLDT, and Converge, these prices over time, as we all gain scale, will continue to come down.
For smart, also as part of CSR daw po, why can telcos connect remote communities? For example, in Magsaysay, Davao del Sur, a village about 4 kilometers away from the town center, has no cell phone signal, ergo no internet. The village is populated mainly by IPs who have to go to the town center to call their loved ones in other areas.
Hindi, ano naman po namin yan. You know, we have our PLDT Smart Foundation. So these are locations that we can work with. We're also working with the ICT on to identify these areas, and tutulong po kami kung ano po ang best way na makatulong kami. Susubukan po namin makatulong para magkaroon din ng connectivity sa mga areas na yun. Yes, challenging, maybe far-flung a little bit. Some of them in mountains and all of that, but we will try our best to work with government how to put coverage in those areas.
Opo, from Bernadette Romero from Daily Tribune, a question for Dito Telcos Adel Tamano. If may implication ba sa commercial rollout nila sa March yung nakabinbin na franchise nila sa Senate? Confident ba sila that Congress will grant them a franchise before their rollout?
Thank you for that question. We are quite confident that Congress will see the wisdom of granting us a franchise extension before our commercial launch. We believe it will be most fair for Filipinos, especially the Filipino consumers, who will be buying our SIMs and will be investing in our service, to be assured that our franchise will continue and that that our business will be viable since it is based on that franchise. So we're very hopeful that will happen, and we're excited to as we have been saying, to bring competition to the market starting March. And if I may just say, in regard the question on coverage, we have a government commitment to have 84% coverage by our 5th year. So those underserved areas will be met. Allow us to say that that is our government commitment, but internally, we are going for 90% within 5 years. So those areas that have no mobile coverage, Dito will serve those areas. Thank you.
Opo, second question niyo second question niya para pa rin po sa dito. Update daw po sa ongoing plans, projects on ensuring that our national security and interest is protected even if 40% of the company is owned by Chinese state-run Chinatel.
If I can just say 3 points on that. First point, we are a Filipino company. It is run by Filipinos, and the officers are Filipino, the employees are Filipino. It is a Filipino country, and therefore we will never allow any espionage or anything that will be negative to our national security to happen due to our operations. Second, unlike other telco companies, we have been required by the DICT and the NTC to provide a cybersecurity plan. That was a requirement for our CPCN, and our cybersecurity plan is in place in order to protect our consumers and our network from cybersecurity problems, whether it be from other countries or whether it be from different groups. The third point is we are investing heavily in cybersecurity. Just for our Security Operations Center, just this year, we have spent 1 billion pesos for that. And we'll continue to spend heavily because we know, and in fact, the NTC and the DICT were very wise. They knew that this would be an issue, and that is why they have made it a stringent requirement for us to provide our cybersecurity plans before our CPCN was granted. So I hope that answers your question po.
Before the next question, Commissioner, pang-ilan po yung Vietnam at saka Thailand?
Sa Asia po, sa mobile, ang Thailand po is number 16 at ang Vietnam is number 18 po.
Okay. So yun nga po siguro yung sentimiento talaga ng ating mga kababayan, no? Parang nahuhuli tayo doon sa mga bansa na kapareho ng ekonomiya at kapareho ng ating populasyon. Sige po, next question po.
Opo, for Secretary, basahin ko lang ulit yung mga iba pang sa telcos kasi yung mga questions may other topics po ang MPC. Question from Joe Montemayor of Malaya for Converge, yung delay daw po sa billing ng Converge.
Good morning ulit. Yung sa billing po, meron kasi tayong iba-ibang means of sending yung bill, no? Hindi na ho tayo nagpapadala ng paper bill ngayon. Ang isang reason dyan, yung sa email, minsan po nagbabounce. Pero may ibang way naman po na makakuha ng bill. Meron hong website kung saan siya pwedeng kunin at nag-launch na po kami ng mobile app.
Opo. For Globe, when exactly may we expect better services? Ang question po from Tris Terada ng CNN. And may you please qualify daw po and quantify what better service means? For example, it is uninterrupted signal, no more drop calls.
Well, better service is, I mean by better speeds, better network availability, and of course resiliency. But yung sinasabing zero drop calls, hindi ho mangyayari yun. Kasi nasa limit ho tayo ng technology. No? Radio ho ang ginagamit. Kahit these are very sophisticated radios, radio pa rin ho yan. Pag nakatapat ho yan ng pader, umaandar ang auto, nakatapat ng tunnel, titigil ho talaga yan. I think we also have to be realistic kung ano talaga ang limits ng technology. No? Kahit ho sa ibang bansa, meron din hong drop call. So I think the telcos are doing what we can. Improvement of coverage. The number of cell sites, I think, is key to improving the mobile coverage. Like I said, we are introducing voice over Wi-Fi for indoor coverage. Na pwede natin gamitin ang ating Wi-Fi to be able to access the cellular network. Yan ho, a new development. Kaya nga ho, we are really pushing people to replace handsets, no? That will go with the newer technology, that the capability of the handset will also enhance their service experience.
For smart po siguro and converge siguro to, Secretary, ano? What's keeping telcos from approving these improvements despite the President's assistance?
Wala po kayong audio, Mr. Panlilio.
Yeah. Sorry. As I said earlier, we have improved nga, no? But again, we are not happy. We will continue to invest. I think we'll invest again 73 billion this year. That next year it would even be much higher than that, no? So we will continue to invest in infrastructure, coverage. 5G will also help mobile in terms of experience. As I mentioned in my presentation also, it's the right handsets, no? The right handset chipsets that will give you the best experience on the right network, no? And the right SIM. That's why, medyo malaki pa po ang ating populasyon na naka 2G, for example. Mahirap po talaga ang experience ng data kung sa 2G. So we have programs to upgrade you to 4G LTE because that's where the experience will be much better. And data now is about 73% of our total revenue. So we've seen a spike during the lockdown for sure. But you need to have the right devices so that you can have the right experience.
Okay, thank you. For NTC po, ang tanong mula kay Same Denilla, what will be the standard to be used by NTC to determine if there was a significant improvement in the country's telecommunication and internet services? For Commissioner Cordoba.
Opo, actually po, Your Honors, pinakita ko po kanina, what we did is nakipagtulungan po kami sa UCLA because yan po ang ginagamit ng ibang bansa as well. That is based on crowdsourcing, and yung pong number of tests made ay for this year from January to November, 100 million tests na po ang nagawa dito sa Pilipinas, and yan nga po ang resulta na lumabas na tuloy-tuloy po ang pagbilis at pagtaas ng speed ng ating internet. So yun po, we are using speed test UCLA and we are coordinating with them on this po.
Opo, ang second question niya yung assessment daw po ng NTC regarding sa quality communication services. Kailan po daw ang target niyo makomplete ito at masubmit for consideration ni President Rodrigo Duterte?
Actually po, tuloy-tuloy po ang aming pagtrabaho po dyan para po gumanda at tumaas po ito. We will never stop. And we will magbibigay po kami ng we update po the Office of the Executive Secretary on a monthly basis po dito through the DICT Secretary. Idagdag ko lang po, nabanggit po kasi kanina ang for example ang Vietnam, nabanggit ko nga po earlier, sa Vietnam po ay mabilis ang pagtrabaho nila dahil nga po yung tatlong telcos nila ay government owned. So it's really not comparable dito sa atin na private sector driven. Doon sa kanila, yung gobyerno po ay hindi po nagkakaproblema sa right of way, hindi po nagkakaproblema sa permit. So nabanggit ko po kanina, the top 3 Vietnam, for example, yung po kasi kino-compare natin ng sarili natin sa Vietnam because of almost the same size and almost the same population. But yung pong pagkakaiba sa kanila ay gobyerno po ang gumagasto sa kanilang telecommunications infrastructure.
Commissioner, sa Thailand, gobyerno rin ba ito gumagastos?
I think so po. Hindi ko lang po alam yung names ng mga companies pero that's what I heard also. Yung pong Vietnam ay already confirmed. 3 po ang government-owned. 93% of the consumers of the market is being serviced by the 3 government-owned companies.
Opo, question from Snow Badwa for NTC pa rin po. Ramdam na po ang pagbabago at bilis ng koneksyon. Kung naging ganito po ba ka-aggressive ang previous administration sa telecommunications improvement, matagal na po kaya tayong mas mataas pa sa rankings at mas maganda pa ang koneksyon?
Actually po, maganda po yung tanong na yan. Kasi po, yung pong pag-implement po ng National Broadband ay nasimulan po yan noong time ni President Arroyo pero hindi nga po natapos noon at hindi na-implement. During the time po of the previous administration ay wala pong any movement on this item. And nagsimula lang po ito nung umupo po si President Duterte. At ngayon po ay nandiyan na nga po ang budget ng DICT for the National Broadband Project. And yan po ang napakalaking tulong po sa ating bansa para gumanda at bumilis po ang internet. Ano po yan? Kasi ang paradigm po kasi ng pagtingin ng dating administrasyon at yung sa mga dati ay yung pong paggawa ng tulay o paggawa ng roads. Dahil yan po ay nakikita, yan po ang ginagastusan. Kaya lang po ngayon, hindi ka na kailangang gumastos dyan sa tulay at sa kalsada kung ang gagastusin mo ay yung pong broadband. Dahil yun po nasa ibang lugar ay makakuha na rin po ng serbisyo, government services tulad po ng nasa gitna. Dahil po dadaan na po yan through technology. Kunwari po, ang teacher po sa Maynila na kunwari po ay mataas ang pinag-aralan, karoon ng postgraduate studies abroad, ay pwede po maging teacher ng lahat ng estudyante sa buong Pilipinas through through government infrastructure and government technology po, di po ba? So marami pong magagawa kapag po nagsimula na ang paggastos ng government sa national broadband.
Opo, tanong ni Joseph Morong, given daw po the presentations, what's the conclusion daw po in reference the President's order for the telcos to improve their services?
Based po sa presentation, ito naman po was done by a third party. Nag-improve naman po sila, pero ang mas mabigat po na improvement ay mararamdaman po natin pagka po nagpukpukan na sila sa merkado first quarter of 2021. Dahil po competition will drive the services to improve and will drive prices to go down in the service of the Filipino consumer.
Si Spokes Roque daw po. Yeah.
Okay. Reaction, no?
Opo.
Well, hindi naman po ingrato ang sambayanan, no? At hindi po natin binabaliwala yung mga naging improvement. Pero sa totoo lang po, ang ninanais po ng ating mga kababayan ay hindi lang po na mag-improve. Ninanais din po ng ating mga kababayan yung ninanais ng Globe at saka ng Smart na maging world class. At tapatan lang po tayo at number 34 in Asia, I don't think we are world class. Kaya nga po ang mensahe ng Presidente, iniimbita naman po ang mga telecoms company sa Malacanang mismo at naimbita po si Mr. Ku. Tinanong ko anong kinakailangan, nag-deliver naman po ang gobyerno. Pero ginagawa po ito ng ating Presidente at ng gobyerno dahil importante po that we should give the best service to the Filipino people. And yes, we should be world class. And definitely, number 34 in Asia cannot be world class.
Opo. Sir, medyo iiba na po ako ng topic ngayon, Secretary. Tanong ni Rose Sobenario ng Hataw, ano po ang basihan ni Pangulong Duterte sa pagdeklarang highly urbanized city ang San Jose del Monte, Bulacan? Gayong ang dami pa nga walang kuryente dyan, saka hindi maayos ang serbisyo ng tubig.
Populasyon po yan, land area at kita.
From Jonah Villaviray ng Asahi, Manila, the President said last night that there's a dearth of space for people who are suspected of having the virus. This is why he wants hotels to accommodate patients. Does this mean that the mega quarantine centers constructed a few months ago are at full capacity? And how many people are now in these quarantine centers nationwide?
Hindi naman po, no? Dahil dun sa report din kahapon ni Secretary Duque, wala pa po sa 50% yung ating mga isolation facilities. Pero ito po ay preparasyon dahil alam natin na yung tracing at isolation ay crucial po para labanan itong virus neto. Kaya dinadamihan po natin yung ating mga facilities nang sa ganon, lahat ng na-expose ay mabigyan po ng mandatory quarantine facility.
Follow up po niya whether people who have already been turned away from the quarantine centers because they are full.
Wala pa pong ganong balita, no? At palagi po nang rini-report ng ating kalihim ng kalusugan yung capacity ng ating mga TTMF na tinatawag, no, yung temporary facilities, no, at hindi naman po siya nag-critical level.
Question from MJ Blanca Flor ng Daily Tribune. How will the palace respond to criticisms that the President was too late in his realization that coronavirus testing is an important part of the overall pandemic strategy?
Hindi po totoo yan. Sa mulat-mula po, ang ating prioridad ay i-improve ang ating testing capacity. Kaya nga po ngayon, tayo po ngayon ay isa sa pinakamataas na testing capacity sa buong Asia.
Can the government afford to provide the free swab tests next year, given po na we will also spend billions of pesos to purchase COVID-19 vaccines?
Yan po ang ninanais ni Presidente, no? At yan din naman po ang nakasaad sa ating Universal Healthcare Law na ating sinulong, no? At yan po ang dahilan. Kaya nga ang pangunahing nagbabayad ng PCR test ay PhilHealth para hindi na taong bayad ang magbayad.
From Pia Reñada ng Rappler, President Duterte said last night about vaccine supply, if they have clout or yung mayayaman sila mismo ang mag-produce, wala man tayo magawa kaso Kaso naghihintay lang tayo ng sobra. Is this defeatist attitude coming from the president when countries like Indonesia and Thailand were able to reserve COVID-19 vaccines already even if they are not first world countries?
Ay, hindi po tayo nahuhuli dyan, no? Kaya nga po nagtalaga si Presidente ng vaccine SAR para masigurado na pag nandyan na, magkakaroon po tayo. Ang realidad po, talagang hindi tayo mauuna. Siyempre, yung mga bansa na nag-develop ng vaccine, unahin nila yung kanilang mga mamamayan. Pero ang pangako po ng Presidente, by first quarter po, marami na sa atin makakaroon ng bakuna.
Ang follow-up naman po ni Joseph Morong, how much will we need to provide free COVID testing and how are we going to make this possible?
Sa ngayon naman po, lahat bayad ng PhilHealth yan eh. So kung bilyon-bilyon pong sinisingin lang PNRC alone, bayad po yan ng PhilHealth. No? Minsan nga lang, kinakailangan ng mas mahagang panahon para magkaroon ng reconciliation. Pero nakasaad po kasi yan doon sa ating batas na isinulong na yung diagnostic kasama po sa mga pribilehiyo ng lahat ng mga miyembro ng PhilHealth.
Question from Rosalie Cos ng UNTV. Since 2016 campaign pa binabanggit ang firecrackers ban siguro to ban ni Pangulong Duterte. Sabi po niya kagabi 2021 maglalabas siya ng order para tuluyang ipagbawal ang paputok sa bansa. Kaunting panahon na lang ang nalalabi bago magtapos ang kanyang termino. Paano niya tiyak na magagawa ito? Pwede po ba through executive order lang ang total firecracker ban?
Well, gaya ng sinabi kagabi ng Presidente, kinakailangan alalahanin din yung mga tao na nakasalalay sa paggagawa ng paputok bilang hanap buhay. So kumbaga, binigyan na ng warning ng Presidente, humanap na kayo ng ibang hanap buhay dahil sa susunod na taon, magkakaroon na tayo ng absolute firecrackers ban.
Pahabol naman po ni Joseph Morong, why is the President only realizing importance of testing now when in March we already asked about mass testing?
Nasagot na po yan. We've always given priority to testing. Nandyan po si Vince Dizon as testing SAR and we now have one of the highest testing capacities in the whole world.
Ang tanong po ni Virgil Lopez, may we get Palasyo's reaction to World Bank's latest projection that the Philippines economy will shrink by 8.1% this year due to the COVID-19 crisis and devastating typhoons? The World Bank's forecast is actually a bit optimistic compared to the government's revised projection of 8.5 to 9.5% contraction for 2020.
Well, siyempre po, nalulungkot tayo dyan, no? Dahil ibig sabihin, mas maraming maghihirap sa pagbagal ng ating pag-unlad. Pero yan naman po ay naging resulta ng pandemya at ng mga sigalot na sunod-sunod na dumaan sa ating bansa. Kaya po natin to, babangon tayo. We will do better in 2021. And pagdating po sa pandemya, kaya po natin to. Sundin lang natin ang sinasabi ng Presidente, mask, hugas, iwas, pag-ingatan ng buhay para sa hanap buhay.
Opo, pasensya na po. May pahabol na tanong si Celerina Monte ng Manila Syumbong para po sa NTC. Magkano po ang budget na kailangan ng government to put up the necessary infrastructure for telecoms in order to be at par with neighboring countries? Does the government have the fund for NTC po?
Yes.
Actually po, Secretary, bago ko po sagutin yung tanong na yan, you asked me about Thailand. I just checked it. Ang Thailand po, ang CAT, which is the biggest operator in Thailand, is also government-owned. State-owned po siya. Now, tungkol po sa katanungan ninyo, based po sa request ng DICT to fully put up a national broadband network sa buong bansa, ang kailangan po is around, I think, 18 billion pesos. Pero hindi naman po ito sabay-sabay na magagawa. Kaya po ang proposal po ng Kongreso ay mabigyan po ang DICT ng 6 billion para po makagawa ng isang linya from north to south. Pero yung po mga sides, para po makumpleto yun, ang kailangan po is around 18 billion. At nakikita naman po namin, maganda po yan dahil kapag nagkaroon po niyan, ay yung pong binabayad sa ating mga telcos ay hindi na ibabayad at marirecoup po yan ng ating gobyerno dahil ang mag-release po dyan ang mga telcos at magagamit po yan for the government offices. Hindi na po sila magiging dependent on the telcos. So makakatipid po tayo in the long term.
Okay, last question na po ito, Secretary, from Vance Fernandez para po sa telcos natin. Could you offer the Filipino Internet Service consumer a timeline of when will the telco service improve, both speed-wise and customer service-wise, with or without pressure from the President? Can we have a globe?
Yes, as we have said, the service will continually improve as the rollouts happen. So you will see incremental increases, I think, beginning, it's already happened, as the commissioner himself has attested to. Pero in 2021, mas mararamdaman pa yan kasi mas malaki ang builds, both ng Smart at PLDT. And of course, it is targeted towards things like fiber optic. No? So tuloy-tuloy ho ang improvement niyan. And I think as the pandemic eases and as Secretary Harry said, vaccines are on their way and stuff, hopefully we can get people back working in the office, particularly in the call centers, and that way we can now address the customer service issues much easier.
Opo, ang Smart po?
Yeah, we said that earlier also. We will continue to improve. We are putting a lot of budget on infrastructure. It has been my focus also to improve customer care, customer experience. I hear and I see the social media messages, so I take note of that. So we are actually looking at that seriously. We also want to use technology, as I said earlier, to improve customer service. So it's a task that we need to do, and we will for sure commit to do it.
Opo.
We're out of time, no? Maraming salamat po sa ating mga naging panauhin. Si Commissioner Liel Cordoba, si NTC Deputy Commissioner Edgardo Cabarrios, Jesus Romero ng Converge, Attorney Adel Tamano ng Dito, Mr. President Ernest of Globe, Mr. President Al Panilio of Smart. No? Maraming salamat po sa mga kasama natin sa Malacanang Press Corps at Yusek Rocky.
May pahabol lang
Thank you
po.
very much.
May
Meron pa raw isang panghabol.
pahabol. Tanong ni Joe Montemayor, gaano daw po ka-committed si President Duterte sa no more ceasefire with CPP, NPA, NDF pronouncement niya? Sa nakaraan po ay nagbabago ang isip niya at pinagbibigyan pa rin niya ang CPP, NPA, NDFP. Wala na po bang magbabago ng isip niya ngayon ukol sa ceasefire at sa peace talks?
Mukha naman pong categorical yung statement niya kagabi, no more ceasefire. So nagpapasalamat po kami sa mga kasama natin sa Malacanang Press Corps. Salamat Yusek Rocky at siguro bilang pangbungad na statement, no? We thank our carriers, Globe, Smart, for the improvement that they have given to the telecoms industry. We reiterate na siyempre po ang kanilang prangkisa is a privilege at ang karapatan naman po ng tao ay magkaroon ng mabuting telecoms. Hindi na rin po pribilehiyo ang telecommunications, no? Yung right to connectivity ay isang karapatang pantao na rin. Pero I think we are one in recognizing na we need to be world-class, and that is where what Commissioner Cordoba statement is relevant. Let us know what you need from government dahil ang importante po, mabigyan ng world-class service ang sambayan ng Pilipino. With that, on behalf of our President po, sa ngalan po na ating Presidente, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, ito po inyong spokesman Roque, nagsasabi, Pilipinas, we will be world-class. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.